to sit tight on this call. That way you get firsthand everything that you need to understand. So I'll be handing over to Jude right now. Jude is the facilitator for today. He's the trainer, and he will take us through everything. He's also a superstar in development, so he totally understands what is required today. So over to you, Jude. Thank you for being here, and I'll be in the back end, to get the questions and you call to your attention. Over to you, Jude.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here. So today I'll be taking us on using GitHub Actions for CI/CD workflows.
I think you're trying. Okay.
Let me know when you can see my screen.
It's coming up. Yeah, it's up.
Okay, so I'll just give us like a quick rundown of what we are going to be doing today, what we intend to achieve, how we are going to do it, before we then go into the demos. So, as I said before, we are going to be using GitHub Actions to automate CI/CD workflows. So, let's go on to the next step. The topics we are going to go through today, we have continuous integration, continuous delivery, GitHub packages, and Docker container actions. So with the continuous integration, that's the software engineering practice that requires frequent commits to a shared repository. So you have a team working on the same software, and they all make frequent commits to the repository so they can collaborate better and produce overall better software. And for this section, what we will learn is how to use continuous integration, what it is, how to use GitHub Actions to automate continuous integration, how to create a workflow that runs our tests and produces test reports. And so to demonstrate this, we'll be using Jest to test a Node.js server before deployment. So Jest it's a testing framework for JavaScript. And we're going to be using that to test like a piece of an application. So I demonstrate implementing continuous integration using GitHub Actions. Okay. So I want to go into the demo for this. Is that okay?
So, you could, yeah.
Okay. So for the demo of this, so we are starting with continuous integration. For the demo, I created a GitHub repository, which I called CI/CD package demo. So I'll be using this demo for the CI section, continuous integration section, and two other sections. So here we have some application files, but we have all this. This don't really matter right now. What we need to do first is we need to create the actions. So we want to implement continuous integration. To do that, on this tab, we go to the Actions tab. So I assume like we all know how to use GitHub repositories. Like we can create repos. Like before I continue.
Yes, you can create repos.
Okay. So you already have your code. It's already on your GitHub repository. Okay. So you can then go to this Actions tab. So depending on what you want to work with. So if you are working on, let's say a Java project, for example, you could search here. So you could search for Java. It will bring up like pre-made workflows that you can modify it to do whatever it is you need to. So have the Java ones here. Let me. Okay, so you have you have these here, create and test pattern application, package pattern application using Anaconda. So depending on the language, you get different actions I can use for different things I want to do. So for this example, now I'll be using since I'm working with the JavaScript project, what I want to do is I want to run the tests for JavaScript project. So I can type in JavaScript here. Oh, let me see JavaScript. Let's see the options I have here. Okay. So specifically, since it's a Node server, I can also search for Node. I should get options here. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I have different workflows I can use. So on actions, um, the automation that you do on actions is done using workflow files. Now these workflow files, they are YAML files. So let me try creating one here. So this one here, this seems like something I want to use. That's build and test Node.js project with npm. So I can click on configure. Now this gives me a file with some code already in it. Now this is a .yaml file. This is a YAML file, and this is how you run our workflows. So if you look at this now, after clicking on configure, it creates a .github folder and a workflows folder inside the GitHub folder, which then has the .yaml file in there. So this .yaml file now, this is going to be our workflow, and this is what we can currently edit. This is what we can edit here. So I'll try to explain like what all the lines in here, what they mean. So we can start from line 4. So line 4 is just you giving a name to the workflow. So what you're doing here is you are describing step by step what GitHub should do. So you can, if you look at line 6 now, it says on push. So that's basically saying that it's what you want this workflow file to run whenever you make a push or whenever you make a pull request. So here, like if you look at line 8 here, you can specify the branches that you want this to affect. So if you had like a deployment branch now, for example, instead of having main here, you could have deployments here. So we'll still work on that later, but just to have it in mind. So line 4 basically gives the workflow a name. It's called Node.js CI. That is good enough for me. On line 6, we are specifying when it is you want this workflow file to run. So we want it to run when you make a push and also when you make a pull request. And we want them to run for the branch main. Now you can specify multiple branches. So if you had, like I said, a development branch now, or like a deployment branch, you could have deployment, multiple branches. So we'll still work with that later. But for now, let's leave it as main. Now, under this job section on line 12, that is where you specify the actual steps that the workflow will go through. So think of the jobs as like a set of steps. So you could have a job, let's say the job is to package the application, for example, you could call it package. And then you can then specify the platform that it runs on. So this line fits in here, this runs on, this specifies the package that the platform it runs on. And for this, you have 3 options. You have Ubuntu latest, there is also Windows latest, and there's Mac OS. And if you wanted to test your workflow file on multiple platforms, you use like what you have on line 17, this strategy. That's the way to specify the different OSs that I want to run on. So if I wanted my workflow now to run on Ubuntu, Windows, and Mac OS. I could create a new queue here. Let me call this OS, and then I will then specify these Ubuntu test, Windows test, and Mac OS test. Copy all these in here. All these in here and separate them with commas. And instead of specifying the particular one, instead I reference this OS key that's inside this matrix in strategy. So it's something similar to this. I specify OS. So when it is building, when it is going through this workflow and it is running this build job, it would run whatever commands I have here on the 3 different platforms that I have specified in here. So let's go down. So that's what strategy is for. You can specify multiple platforms, multiple versions, multiple like scenarios for your actions to run. So you can then go down. So the way this thing works is you have so on this here you can see like a description of how the workflow file is structured, where you have a name, then you have an on. That's like when the workflow file is going to run on push, on pull request. Then you have the jobs. So you give the job like a name, which in this point here, this station here is called build. And then the run zone, you specify the platform on which it's to run the action. And then the steps are now the individual commands that you want to run as part of that workflow. So you have the workflow, which then has the job, which then goes down to the step, and then the action. So let's go back to the workflow file. So in here now, you have the steps. That's on line 23. You have the steps. So this, when you are for each step, there are different ways of specifying an action. So you could use so there are these actions that are provided by GitHub by default, are provided by GitHub or by other parties. So for now, working with the ones provided by GitHub directly. And so you have these actions, so you can reference them using /actions/ and then the action. You could use that, or you could do something similar to what you have on line 30, where you'd use the run keyword, run, and then the command that you want to run. So here, this is npm ci. So those are the two different ways you can have your steps, your actions, sorry. So if you want to run a command directly, like your npm ci, you use this run keyword. But if you want to use an action that's already prepackaged by GitHub or one of their collaborators, you use this keyword instead. And so the way it works is for each action, then you could give it a name. So for the action on line 24, that doesn't have a name. All this action does is it grants this workflow access to when a checkout operation occurs. So that's like when you make a pull request and when you push. So that's what this line 24 does here. Now line 26. For this action now, it's given a name. The name is use Node.js, and it's supposed to specify a version here. But in this workflow file now, and the workflow is being run with 2 different node versions. So that's why you have on line 19. On line 19, you have the 2 different node versions. That's node version 14.x, 16.x, and 18.x. And so you have those referenced on line 26 using the matrix.node version. Yep. So while it has a name, we are still using an action that's prepackaged for us by GitHub, which is this setup node action. That's why I have on line 27. And also this setup node action, it requires some information. So you need to tell it the node version that we want to run the workflow with. That's what we have on line 19, the 2 different node versions. And then you can then go down to line 32. Line 32, what this does is this installs our dependencies. Line 32 installs our dependencies. So I could actually keep this in name. So that means this action npm-ci now has a name. So when it is going through the process, like when it is going through the workflow, it will show you the name of like the step that it's currently on. So for the project, we are not running any build. So line 35 is supposed to run like a build command. If you have a build command for your application, and the one I'm currently using, we don't have that, so I can remove this. And then for line 35, which is npm test, that is running the test script that I've created. So I can also give this a name. Test. Okay. I think that's all we need for now. So now I can save this. Let me rename this to CI. That's YAML CI. Okay. So now the convention when you're compiling a new file is to actually create a new branch and make a pull request from the new branch. So let me call this CI patch 1. CI patch 1. Okay. And now as part of working with process integration, sometimes you might want your tests to run before a pull request is approved. Also, you might also want to enable, there are these things, branch protections. So you might want every pull request to require an approval from either someone that you specify or one of the code owners, or you could also specify that you want all the checks to run before a pull request is allowed, before the pull request is merged. So you can set that up over here. You go to the settings tab and branches. Here you can set branch protection rules. So I'll just add a rule. So this branch name pattern, this is like you specifying what branches this rule applies to. So we only want this rule to apply to the main branch. Okay, so you have this required pull request convention. means that it also requires status checks to pass before merging. Yes. So require approvals. Okay. Let me set this instead. And so what this does now is, if you want to merge code, you have to go to the pull request, and one of the code runners has to review the pull request. And also, before the pull request is merged, all the status checks have to have been passed. So let's create that rule. Okay, so now we can go to our pull request. So here it tells us, say patron had recent pushes 2 minutes ago. Okay, so you want to make a pull request, compare pull request. Create a pull request. And now, while this loads, it should, so it immediately sees our code that we've written here. This is the workflow, so it's currently running the workflows which we have here. So I can click on one of them to go to details. Okay. So like I said before, since we specified different environments for it to run on, we specified Ubuntu, Windows, and macOS. So for each version, so for version 14 of our node, for node version 14, it runs on Ubuntu, Windows, and Mac. Then for version 16, it also does the same. Now, for this our script, it's failing because our test doesn't pass. We get an error here. Okay, so if we look at line 18/919, it's expecting welcome to the application. Instead, it sees just welcome. And so we have to fix this before we then continue with the merging. So I can go to the code. I know where the problem is. It's in here. So I did this. And it comes directly to the main branch. Yes. Okay. And now we go back to this pull request. Try to run this again. The actions, you should have the actions restarting now since I made a change to the main branch. Okay, so we run the jobs. Okay. And also, whenever the actions, whenever I ring the workflow fails, I get notification that's in my mail that it has failed, so I can go check it out. Let me see. Okay. You see that error, so that means I have to modify this once again. Okay. So you can go back to code here. This CI patch 1 modify this to commit this change to the CI patch 1 branch. And this after the pull request. Yeah, so now if you run the check, then it made a change to the CI patch 1 branch. Let's just list all the checks to finish. Okay, so all our checks have passed. And now we can merge the pull request. Confirm merge. And since we've merged that branch with the main branch, we can now delete it. So that's an example of how you implement continuous integration into the application. So whenever anyone tries to merge into the main branch or makes a pull request into the main branch, the workflow will run. Those actions that are specified would run. So this one here, this was from us making the pull request before the merging, and now this is now during the merging. This is triggered by the merging. This is triggered by the pull request. Now I want to modify the workflow file, and like we don't need to run it on 2 different platforms using 2 different versions of Node. That's unnecessary for this example, so I'll modify that and remove most of that. Okay. And since I made that change now, it will be good for the actions are currently running. We only have one now. And it's just using Node.js 16. It's only using the Ubuntu latest environments to run it. And that's done. That's my commit pull request, confirm mesh. And then it's going to this branch. Okay, so I'm done with so this is implementing the consensus integration section for this demo. Do we have any questions before I continue? Are there any questions before I continue?
Okay, just someone wants to speak. If you cannot speak, let me know so I could activate your mic. Okay, so just one quick question, right? What exactly is the benefit of these continuous integration like?
Okay, so I could be working on a different branch. So let me so I can create a new branch and let me call this the development. Let me just go a short dev, and I create the branch. Now in this branch, I make some changes to the code. So let's say I change this from, so I edit this. Instead of this to send hello world, I change this to dev branch, and then I commit those changes to the dev branch. Now, after some time, you then want to merge the changes that I made in the dev branch into the main branch. So you make a pull request. Make a pull request. So when I make that pull request, the checks then run. And then the checks, they want to make sure that all the tests I specified are passed before I'm allowed to merge the changes I made in the dev branch into the main branch. So now, since I made a change that didn't pass the test, it failed, and then the code owners, they get notification that the test has failed. Now, currently, I can still merge the pull request, but this is because I'm the code owner. So if it was someone else that was a collaborator coming in on this, they'll be unable to merge that pull request.
So that way you were able to monitor the modifications on the existing.
Yeah, and you're also able to prevent
None of them.
code breaking modifications, prevent modifications that affect the functionality of the software. Yeah.
Makes total sense. So for instance, I'm in an on a project, and I'm trying to collaborate with other people who maybe they're my friends, and they can also build code like me, and maybe, but there are separate various segments of the stuff I want them to work with. So I assign them various roles based on the level of trust I have. And I think that it will be best that I don't give any other person ownership except myself. So that's
Yeah,
correct.
that can also work. So when you're assessing like your branch protections, you can specify like collaborators that should review code before the merge is allowed. So let me go back under the settings tab here, under the branch protections here. If I were to edit the back protection rule here, so you have this checkbox over here, which is require approvals. If you select this, you could then specify collaborators or so you specify the number of approvals that you need before the merging is approved. You can also specify the collaborators that are allowed to approve.
Request.
Yeah. So, uh, so to make it slightly less complicated, that's why I only selected this require review from code owners. I am the code owner, so I could. So I am enough to make to to merge into the pull to merge the pull request. Does that clarify things?
Yeah, I got cut off. Yeah, I did understand. I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, so I can continue.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this next section, for this we'll be going through continuous development, continuous delivery, and when we just looked at continuous integration, then we'll move on to continuous delivery using GitHub Actions. And so this continuous delivery means that code changes are automatically deployed or released to a testing or production environment as soon as they are merged. You'll learn how to create a workflow that enables continuous delivery using GitHub Actions. You'll create a workflow to deploy to a Docker registry based on merging to the deployment branch. And so since continuous delivery, this section and the next section, which is also GitHub packages, they are kind of related. So I'm working on those together. I'm working on them together side by side. So for the GitHub packages, when you are running your builds, some steps are run. So maybe you install your dependencies, you build, and you run your build commands if there are any build commands, and you run your tests. Now, when you're done with all those, you might want to view the results of those commands. That's why I have the build artifacts, or you might want to pass them off to other to other to other platforms or other softwares that are integrated with the GitHub Actions. That's why I have like a GitHub artifact. So you could, after building, you could convert it to a Docker container and then pass it off to a registry for deployment, or you could save it as a zip file, which you can then access like locally on your computer. So like it kind of goes hand in hand with continuous delivery. So I would work on those together. So under the GitHub packages, you would also learn about continuous delivery, like how to save and access build artifacts, package management, and how to publish the GitHub packages. And so we'll be using the same web server that I've been working on for the continuous integration. So continue with that. Okay, so I want to continue with the demo. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Let's go.
Okay. So under the actions, you could have multiple workflows for the same project. So this first one is a continuous integration workflow. But then I could then create a new workflow, a different one. And I could create this to package the application, to publish it to GitHub. So it's publish it to a repository, to create a Docker image. So you could have different workflows to the different parts, different actions. You want to test the application, you have a workflow for that. You want to deploy it to your production or staging environments. You can also have a separate workflow for that. You could also use the same workflow. For an example, we have this. Okay, that's for this workflow, what I want to do is I want to work with Docker. So I also want to build a Docker image. Yeah, so this first, under the actions, where you can search for different things you want, this first one seems to be good enough for what I want to do. But this also seems good enough, so publish Node.js package to GitHub packages. Yeah, and so if you notice, under this actions page, it actually suggests actions as it thinks you would want to do based on the code that you have in your repository. So it says that this is a JavaScript project, so it recommends like stuff with Node.js and Docker. Let's look at this. Configure. Okay, this is not what I was looking for. Docker image. Let's configure this one. Okay, so this is similar to what I want, but I also wanted to also build an artifact which I can download. So okay, so this is something what I was looking for. Yeah. So for this now, what this section does is this will create an artifact, and this allows us to like save an artifact of the build from a particular directory. So let me go through it. So for this now, let me rename this. What I want from this is I want this to create an artifact. So create on push, and I want this to only affect a branch which I call deploy. It should be like the deployment branch. So which is deploy. Okay, hello. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties on my end. Let me continue. So kindly indicate if you can see my screen.
Yes, you were sharing the entire screen, correct?
Sorry, just give me a couple minutes.
Okay. All right. So we could just use a few minutes now for the break session. So we'll just come back in the next 10 minutes. So we use that opportunity to accommodate those who are just joining now to probably drop some questions if they need clarity. And for information also to everyone, the link will be shared later on, which will help them understand much more of what yeah, what it's all about, and also to be able to practice, yeah, because it's more about the practice than the listening and following up. Not everyone will be able to catch up uh that quickly. So for those who may not be able to catch up quickly and those who might join in late, the recording will be there. Just make sure that you fill the survey so you could get the recording. Yeah. So we'll be going for a few minutes break and we'll come back by 11 on the dot. So we have just 10 minutes to do that. So see you all by 11. Okay, guys. Hello. We'll be starting very soon. So you could just use this few minutes to fill in the survey so we could get that response as soon as possible. Yeah, that will also help while we are having the break. We'll still have time for question and answer at the end of the event. So you could do it now, you could do it later on. So any which one works, yeah. 3 minutes left. All right, so we're back. Thank you everyone for your patience and hope you had your tea break. Right, over to you, Jude.
Okay, hello everyone. Sorry for that. We had some technical difficulties as well. That's fixed now. So let me know when you can see my screen.
Yep, I can.
Okay. So what I was doing before, as I said before, I was going to there are two sections I'm going to be doing together. That's the continuous delivery and GitHub packages. I'm working on them together. So this is like an example. So for the GitHub packages, these are artifacts. While you are running your workflows, uh, you have like the commands that will run, the actions that will run, and so you might want to get like build artifacts from those commands. So in your workflow file, for example, if you have like a script to build your application, that gets run as part of the workflow, and you might want to have access to the to the to the result of your build script. So if it's a file, like it's a folder or something, you may also have access to that. So you can do that using GitHub artifacts. So one of the easiest ways to do that is using this what you have online 31 here. So there is an action that's provided by GitHub for getting your artifacts from your application. So if you're working on a particular project where maybe you build some static assets, for example, and you know the static assets are being built into a what slash assets folder. So using this upload artifacts action, you can target that. So you give the artifact that you want to create, you give it a name. That is this. So let me call this and then I specify a path. So if something is being built, I specify the path for. I don't want to get everything. So I put in the dots, so I select everything. And so this workflow file I created now, this is acting on the deploy branch. The previous one was on the main branch. This is on the deploy branch. So whenever there is a push or whenever there is a pull request to the deploy branch, it runs. It also does a similar thing. So where it installs dependencies, it runs the tests, and then it then builds an artifact after running the tests. So let me remove this for now. It has to be Docker. So if we were to run this, what this will do is to go through all the steps in here, install the dependencies, and then build an artifact. So let me rename this to artifact.yaml, and I see that it's an artifact. So now I can create a new branch for this. So artifact patch 1, that proposed to new file. I create a pull request for that. So we wait for some time for the workflow to start. Okay. So let me close this pull request. Let me close this. I'm supposed to make a pull request to the deploy branch. So click the pull request. So I click the new pull request. Now this I want to compare artifact patch 1 branch to deploy branch. Click the pull request. That's that. And now the checks run. That's for create build artifact. So you can check out the details here. Okay, so let's wait for the workflow to finish running. Okay, so now that our workflow is done running, the one that targets the deploy branch, we have an artifact here created. This. So looking at the artifact YAML file, where I specified that's online text, we specified a name for the artifact. It's called sub artifact. We have that artifact then created here. After the workflow is run, is it here? So I can click on this now to download it. Yeah. And so I get a copy of the application at that point. Okay, so while that loads, let me go back to it to explain the relevant actions. So for the actions you can perform using in your workflow file, under GitHub Actions, there are different options, and to get like a list of all the available actions provided by GitHub themselves, you could go to github.com. Okay, so this is the server artifact that I created from this workflow here, which I just downloaded. So I could view that. I view all the details and everything that was created. Now this artifact then can be passed on to other workflows. So you could have, maybe you're using Azure, for example, to deploy your application. This artifact that you have created could then be passed on to another workflow which interacts with that. So to get a list of all the available actions provided by GitHub themselves, you can go to github.com/actions, and here you have everything. So you could search for, like, there's a checkout action, checkout. There you have that. If let's open that, you will get like a description, how to use said action, and the different parameters you could pass into the action. So if you wanted to use it, you use actions/checkout at version 3, and the different things you could pass into it with like a little description. So if you're looking for something that has to do with artifacts, for example, you could search for artifact. And here you have multiple options. The one I used was an approved artifact. So you could scroll down once again, find the details there, and you see like the uses, how you could use it. So for individual file, for a directory, using a wildcard. So you can go there to like figure out what actions you can use and how you can also implement them in your workflows. Now we can merge this pull request, confirm merge. That has been merged successfully, so we can delete that branch. Okay. So let's go back to the deploy branch now. So now I want to implement creating a Docker image and pushing the image to a GitHub container registry. And for that, you can, let me go over here and get the workflow, first the action. So I could modify this workflow to include that. I could create a new one, but for this I would modify this instead. Modify. Then we can delete it first. add a new step, which I could give a name. So this new action I added, this action is created by Docker, not by GitHub themselves. It's like I said earlier. I said earlier that actions can be created by Docker or also by their collaborators. So here, Docker is one of the collaborators that also creates actions that can be used in the workflow file. And so for this Docker action is build and then push your build. So here we pass in the username, the password, the registry, the repository, and then this is an optional parameter comment. And so after updating this now, what it will do is it will run the test, dependencies, run the test, build the artifact, and then build the container and push it to a container registry, which is at this docker.pkg.github.com, and a particular repository here. So let me call this okay. So now I can save this, commit the changes into a new branch, which we call patch 1. Commit the changes. And now, since this artifact I just created, the artifact that's your node I just created, let me refresh this. Docker patch 1. So the first Docker patch 1 branch, the workflow. Since I added the step here, so both build the Docker container and push it to the registry, I also need to provide the configuration that Docker requires to build the image. And that's here is this. There's a file here called Docker file, and this contains the steps Docker would need to go through to create the container image for this application. So I've already specified the Docker file, and if I were to go to the action for if I were to go to the action for building and pushing the car, pushing the sorry. If I were to go back to the updated artifacts.yaml, which has the action for building and pushing the Docker container image. So right here. So we can look for this particular action. It's Docker build push action that we want. What it requires for this. So here we have the action that we're currently using, and so here we have like an example of how we are going to use it. An example. So okay, this has been updated. We currently have version 1 here. I think version 1 here. Let me still try to explain this. So this uses the Docker build push action. And I'm passing the username and password with registry and the repository. So after running this, I would update it to the newer version over here. So in our application, we already have our Docker file, which is going to require. So I can make pull request. So when I make a pull request, it starts running those actions. Okay, so how this is going on. If you have any questions, you can ask them. Like if there's any parts you don't understand, you can cover that now while this build is going on.
Yeah, some have said that following up would require the review the video also to really, yeah, understand and then also ask questions. So I think that would also share, maybe if you have a you could share your LinkedIn profile, the link to your LinkedIn profile. That way we could also, come up with some questions that we could address after the event,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
That will help because even me, I'm struggling to really follow up everything, right? Because it's just happening and
Okay.
it's just
So,
going, it's happening. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
so let
review
me
the
set up.
video and yeah, come back. And then also, I think they should be during the follow up the program. Yeah, some people might might have some additional requests and requirements which maybe you'll be able to help, address and help them solve. You know,
Okay.
that that can also, be possible. So maybe
Okay.
people that want to build an application or people who want to modify the application, people who want to fix a bug in the application or something like that. Yeah, we could also, help. Whether it's just for their business or for the enterprise, whatever it is, I believe you'll be able to help. So I'll
Yeah. Yeah.
just put you in copy of the emails that we sent. So when they drop that request, and also anyone who has any specific request could still drop that in the survey. If you want us to still reach you after the event, that will also be fine. So just drop that and we'll be right with you via email. And if you want to set up a call, that also will be allowed. Have a, yeah. There is a question in the chat. Yeah.
About especially has to cut down the distributed deployment. Yeah, that's exactly what this is doing. So in the inclusion stuff, so it's confusing. So we have this artifact that's YAML file. We actually specify all those. So let me build the workflow file. So in this workflow file, the parts that handles creating the container and then push it to the registry. That's from line 35 down to line 41. So currently it's using an action which is called this docker / build push action. It's using the version 1. And so we are using GitHub's Docker registry. So you could use Docker Hub. You can use your own private registry on Docker Hub. You could use a public registry, or the Azure. If you have like, you could use like the Azure registry instead. But you have the option of using anyone here. But if you're using the Docker registry that's provided by GitHub, then you get to use your username and your GitHub token, which is stored in your secrets. I'll go there and look after this. Here you can store your secrets. You use your username, which is your GitHub username, and your password, which is your GitHub token. So that's basically reference the registry here. And now this repository. Well, the naming of this section has been changed because this isn't really clear. It isn't easy to understand. But you like essentially have your registry name and then uh, the actual container name. So the registry over here is called docker.pkg.github.com, but it should actually be docker.pkg.github.com. Then you then have this your username. Let me go over to Docker Hub to show a better example. if you look over here, for example, here, let's also use this. There was a slight mix-up there. So actually, so this is actually correct. And this is here, where you have the registry and then the repository. And so what you could have now is you could then add like a tag for the particular image that you're creating and add that to the end. Open that to the end. So something like so this is the registry, this is the repository, but it didn't specify the tags. So the way it's done in this is that you would have another forward slash and then the tag. So let's say we call this app, and then just specify like a tag and latest. Does anyone understand what I'm talking about here? Let me cancel the changes I made here. Yeah, so what we've done now, if let me refresh this. Build. What to learn about the repository. Okay, so then log into the registry, then it builds the image, child steps, so it reads the image, and then it pushes the image. So let me try pulling the image locally. See if that works. Yeah, let's have some login.
I'm no longer here, Abi.
Is running back your network lagging. Okay, it's actually raining over there, so yeah, the network is just going on and off.
Sorry, as I was saying, I want to check if it's actually pushed to the Docker repository. Yes, I'm logged in, and I'll try holding that particular image. Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. The image I just created called So it seems like there is a slight problem with the artifact number that I created level unmodified that. I can go back to pull request. It should run the workflow. Where's application system? Let me restart jobs. Let me restart jobs. Jobs. Okay, it sounds like it's working now. So while it is waiting to run, I'm waiting for the runner. While that is waiting, I need to make some changes to the artifact material using the newer version. And copy of this, I'll copy it to my text. Using the copy of push action and field it's use it's if you what you get from searching for that action. Docker push action. So we'll follow the steps that we have here. Okay, so while we are waiting for the build to complete, uh, let me quickly show us. So if you notice in the work profile, we have places where we reference secrets. So like here on line 39, your password, it's not stored in the work profile directly as written text. It's stored as a secret in GitHub. And to set up your secrets for each repository, you could go to your settings, and here you have secrets. Select actions since you're putting your secrets for your actions. Now, under secrets, you can have environment secrets or repository secrets. So with environment secrets, like you could specify secrets that only work in a specific environment. And so the way it works is that you could have a repository secrets that has the same name as an environment secret, but that environment secret would only work for any actions run in that specific environment. For all other environments, it's use repository secrets. Let's create the new repository secrets. Since I'm going to need, so for the ones I want to create now, if we go to what I just notified in my text editor, so this is the current YAML file that's currently running on GitHub Actions. What I've modified is to use the new so while that loads, now that is loading. Okay, that has loaded now. So if you look at line 43 and line 44, I need to, it's looking for secrets called Docker Hub user and Docker Hub token. So I'll go create that one on GitHub. And so these are the steps that it takes. So having sent version 1, using version 2, now you have there are a lot more steps now to package your artifact as a Docker file, as a Docker container, and push it in a repository. Now you need to first set up QEMU, then set up the Docker bibliothek. The previous version 1 handled the logging into your repository and pushing one arm. Now you actually have like a login action separate and your build push action separate. So the login action, you provide your username and your password, it logs you in, and then the build push action is specified. Yeah, so this is that's from line 40 to line 50. So the block from line 40 to 43 handles you logging into your Docker repository. Okay, can you hear me? So all that is loaded. I was showing before. This is the recently updated as a fact it's YAML. And here it's expecting a secret to Docker Hub username and a secret to Docker Hub token. I don't have those yet, so I'm going to create them. Docker delivery secret. I've added my password. So now I've created Docker Hub token and username. So before I replace that with this, let me first go through this and see how this runs. So this is the part that I was having issues with previously. Yeah, so it's worked now. If we were to go through the logs now, so it just shows us all the steps that the workflow file went through. Let's put dependency, run a get test, build application artifacts, build container and set to registry. And here you have like all the steps. So here it shows it's going through the Docker file, performing all the actions. And then after successfully building the image, then tags it to the repository I provided. That's the Docker package GitHub. And then it pushes the image to this. Here we see the image input. So now we can pull the image. So this since we already logged in our Docker, and we fold into the Docker image. And now that was the Docker image that was created. So I can check what images I have currently. I type in Docker images. The first one is the one I recently got. That's app test. So now to test that it works, I can try running it. Docker. now the app is running. I haven't got the response yet. If I can go to pull request. Merge the pull request. Confirm merge. Delete flash. Okay, and now do you guys have any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Okay, can we go on like 5 minutes before I continue? Yeah, hello. Can we go on the 5 minutes before I continue?
To go on another break.
Yeah.
Okay, so this might
questions or sections of like things I did that I don't understand. Yeah, we can go through them now.
no. Okay, so maybe if you need us to take a break for a few minutes, we can just take one more
Okay.
break. We were supposed to have a long break, lunch break, but I don't know how what is left. So maybe we could just wrap whatever is remaining to be taught, then we could go, right? But if it is still much for us to go through, we can just have a long break now.
Yeah, we can have a long break now. I intend to just go through like what I did here and move on to the last section.
Okay, okay. So, all right. So let's take a 20-minute break. This is 12. We'll come back by 12:35. It's supposed to be a 30-minute break, but so that we will not lose our, concentration on what we are learning. So that if we can do the 20 minutes or the 30 minutes, I mean, which one do you prefer?
I think um, we can return like 12:30 if that's okay.
Okay,
Just like
12:30.
slightly above 15 minutes.
All right, all right. Surely. We'll see ourselves in the next few minutes. We will come back by 12:30. Thank you.
Okay.
decimals, when you have decimals within the amount you're trying to send, that is an issue in P1. Just doesn't work correctly. That is the only one I can think.
All right. No problem. I think in this chat, I just put copy highlights. You're going to see what I say. Maybe something else can do it, and let's see what I can put together at least.
Yeah, and the other was supposed to send me the feedback from the report back from Sheyi as well. But yeah, I didn't send it to me yesterday. But I think generally, if the feeling is that there is really no issue, so aside from the password was which probably we have to look at immediately, because the password seems not the rocket science. If we are using, I have a feeling you're using regex, so you can just write normal document to get it done. Regex can be challenging. And that way we can easily solve the password. Because if people password is not accepted by the app, you can't even log in.
So what, do we have like a minimum that we need to get before we can go live this weekend?
Yeah, the minimum is the UX needs to work on it, and the password issue needs to be fixed. If the two of them are not fixed, then we can't roll to live. But rolling to live is not. The only challenge there is just to get the database up and running. I can finish everything else, and the remaining thing will just be switching the domain.
Okay, so I guess we're back.
Yes, but not yet. Like a minute, in a minute.
Okay, let's know when you're ready.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
So I'm continuing with the demo now. For previous way.
I, I can't really hear you clearly.
How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I said so sorry for the delays. So I'll continue with the demo now. So it's in Docker container actions. So the idea behind this is we are creating our own actions. So how you have like the actions are created by Docker or those are created by GitHub. You create your own action, and then you build a container in which that action is run. So that's what that involves. So for this, we'll be following this guide. So here we will learn about creating our container action. And so for the prerequisites, we need to have our Docker file, which we've set up, which I've done over here. So we have a Docker file over here. Then we have the actual action file, the action that's YAML, which is the file that does like the actual the action itself. So here the action is to print hello world, or there is an argument that you could specify here, put to greet. So the default is hello world, but you could set it to greet hello John or hello something else. So we have this as like a template, which is here. So we also have an entry point. So this entry point basically gets the current time and sets it as an output variable. So like other actions can then reference that to get the current time. So you can get the time at which an action ran the past. So I've already created all the required files. I'll go to my GitHub secret repository. I'll call this Docker let's start. This is our code where we initialize the Git repository. Okay, so we set the remote for this, and we can push. Now we have all the files are repeated. We have our Docker file, we have our action.yaml, and our entry points. So as it says, the Docker prints hello world or hello first, whatever name you passed in. And so from this page, I'm writing the action code. We have a few steps to follow, 4 steps to follow. Inside the action code. So we already have our Docker image set up in our Docker file. The input variable there is also great. And we have our entry points of sh script. And we want to make our entry point of sh file executable. So we copy the script over here. Now, so we have that's it. And therefore I'm going to make it. Okay. So and so now testing out the action we just created. We go to our YAML file, that's the action.yaml. And I think I'll copy most of what we have here. The template. Let's go on GitHub first. Let's go on GitHub and create an action for that. And let's just create a simple workflow. then you can just replace that with what we have over here. Yes. Check and push. So that's the hello world job runs on Ubuntu test. And step is you try to say hello. On the steps. Now this hello world action step. Instead of using like the hello world Docker action that's created by GitHub, we use the one we created ourselves. So we replace this with our username, our repository name, what we call it. Get so we hit replace it and then replace this with then you can then get the output time. Okay, this should work. Start commit. I'll create a new branch for this. I can call what's the name? I can name this to YAML commit. Propose new file. And then I can then create a pull request. So all that is loading, our check start. So it checks failed. That's what request failed. Okay. Yeah, so the start button there. The type I created is for version 2, not version 1. So I can move ahead to modify the working file. Change and then commit that. Let me give us my pull request. Let's see how this goes on. Tips that we're getting. Now we can try. We can try pull request once again. Okay, hello. So what I was working on just now, there was a slight issue there with the commands in the procedures given. One of them having a slight issue, so I had to fix that. So for this, we are creating a container action. What the container action does is when you create the container, it simply prints out hello world or hello and whatever name you pass in. And from this, from the documents that from these documents, we have a few files that we need. We need a Docker file to build the container. We need the action.yaml file, which is the action we are running inside container. Then we need this entry point .sh. This helps us get the current time, like the time at which the action was run. And so on this, we had like these steps. And the third step had a slight issue where it refused to run, so I had to add that in Docker file where it's to run. And we already had our readme there, so we already had our readme file. So we then created an action to call we created the workflow file to call our action, the action we created ourselves. So so here, so this is on the main branch. You have the Docker file, you have the readme, which is displayed down here, you have the action and the entry point. This action name is hello world and it creates someone and records the time. Now you pass in an input when you're calling this action, and the input description is who to greet with a default of hello world. And for the outputs, you have this time key and description. So this is being used in our main.yaml file in our workflow. So let me come back there. It's called container action. Yes. So now the workflow we created for this project, we called it test container action, and we said it should always run on every push. So here, the job it runs, it runs on Ubuntu latest. Then it's a job to say hello. So it calls our own hello world action. So you have like my username and name of the repository, as well as container action, and then the version is currently version 3. And then you then pass in who to greet, where I put my name there. And then to be able to reference this action here, we give it an ID called hello. Here, to get the output time, we printed out. We are displaying the time was and then the time that the action was completed. So here it references steps dot hello, which is this ID here, which is referencing this. So in our actions, then we now have the outputs here and at time. And so when we run the workflow, it builds the container using our Docker file, then runs the action, which is the action we created, and so it prints hello and my name, which is what I put there in the container action itself. And so the output there shows the time was next date was at 12:08.
Paparazzi will go to
It's done.
apply the the paparazzi in Spain.
Are there any questions?
No space. We were dot in Washington. We do have one thing. Login. Yeah.
Hello?
You direct nǹkan parabulate lójú kan látàárọ̀ mi ò bóyá yẹn wọn la ìdí àti ó bá mọ̀ ní.
Are there any questions?
jẹ́ ká check orúkọ wọn dáadáa o. yẹ́n ṣe sanwó sí i.
No questions at this time. I think Adeni wants to.
That's what I'm married.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to say that I don't have any question from my hand. I hope we're going to get the video, the recording of this session, right?
Yes, definitely. Most definitely, the recording of the session will be set alongside.
Right,
Just make sure that you fill the survey attached to be able to push that to you too.
So we was very assistant
also,
Okay, so there are no questions. That's all. And thank you all for being here.
Right. So we've come to the end of the session, which most definitely was was fun. Although the brain function, yeah, so once you just go back to recording and it's fine. And then if there are any questions, we'll come back and see as we can address the questions, right? So as thank you very much once again, Jude, for the time and the efforts to make this a success today. So as many as who have come across this before would understand that it really takes time to practice and follow through. But I believe that if you're able to, you just visit the recording and the demos which we also indicated in the email, you'll be able to totally understand and start trying things by yourself, right? So for the benefits that comes after the event, everyone will be reached out to. So if you are in the chat right now, you'd see the survey that already has been dropped there. So from the survey, you just from the link there, you quickly fill the survey and we'll get back to you with the rest of the conversation. Right. Secondly, it's important to understand that as many as who have businesses which startup businesses that is growing, that they too will, be treated a little bit different because they have something that they want to groom, you know, and the benefits really is for them because they are the ones that have solutions they want to build, solutions they have built, solutions they want to move to the cloud, and things like that, right? So as much as we are able to, attend to them, we might want to prioritize, as much as we're able to attend to all, we might want to prioritize them. So all you need to do, make sure that you indicate in the survey that you have maybe an application that you have built that you want to host in the cloud, or you already have an application you've built in the cloud that you want to move to Microsoft Azure, so we can, attend to you quicker. That way, we come around with the to make sure that your business is already on Azure. So, and lastly, the technical enablement benefit also will be available to everyone who is a developer. So yeah, that's a general benefit that will come to everyone. If you have anything that you want or you need us to, address to you, technically you could, speak up on that and we'll help you. Those who maybe have MVPs that they have already, built, but they want to move it to market, or if you have a solution you're planning to build and you need help building that, you could still add. Maybe you can make that as a request. The technical people could also assist in helping you get something up and running, possibly at a fee thereabout. So as much as we've, come to an end of this, just know that we are very much, together. We'll see via email if you have any conversation you want to start. If you have any questions you want to, quickly bring up, you can just reply the email that I'll be sending across to you. So that way we can, initiate the conversation and, we can get things going. The credits, once again, lastly, will be available to as many as possible, as much as we have your indication, like your interest. It's also that there in the survey to say, okay, I'm interested, and no, I'm not. So all the best from me to everyone. If you want us to reach you via, LinkedIn, you could drop your LinkedIn, profile link in the chat. Anyone, Jude, you can also drop yours in the chat in case they want to reach you directly. That will also make sense. Aside from that, every other thing, we want to close it. Is there anyone who wants to say something to, maybe a vote of thanks before we close up?
Yeah, for me, two things. One, I actually want to appreciate the time thinking through, giving to us, taking us through this session. Thank you very much. You mentioned that there's a link drop for the survey. Is it on the chat already? Because I tried to click on the chat, but I couldn't find any of the link. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I couldn't get your name, but I would refer that. So I think sorry? Hello?
I'm Adeni.
Oh, okay, yes. Adeshola, correct?
Yes.
All right. So the link is actually, it was dropped, but because you came later, so you do not have access to the previous message that was dropped. So I would just copy it and paste it again, like at the end, so you could see it right now. Just a second. All right, so it's in the chat now. You could just look at it and fill, and we'll get back to everyone. Once again, thank you very much, everyone, for being here, and do enjoy the rest of your day. God bless. Bye-bye.
Another